Buyurun Süleyman Bey.
Dear participants, first of all, I would like to start by expressing my pleasure for meeting with you. Today, as you closely observe, all bilateral relations between the UK and Turkey demonstrate a development trend in almost every area. Economic relations, in particular, have always been the driving force in Turkish-British relations. I think this event will be a good start for the next generation of Turkish-British relations. In many ways, their condition, the economic relations between Turkey and the UK condition all political relations and cooperation in multilateral fora. Before continuing to economic relations, I would like to give some general figures about Turkey. As you see from my, I would like to present my presentations, but it's impossible for Poppy to present the slides. Therefore, I am continuing with my paper about before continuing to economic relations, I would like to give some general figures about Turkey. As you see, Turkish economy continuously growing. Turkey is a growing economy. Since the beginning of the Turkish Republic, economic growth rate is around 4.5%. Last 2 years, because of the economic problems, the growth rate of Turkey decreased to 2.98 in 2018 and around 1% in 2019. But overall, if we look at the big picture, we see that around 4.5% economic growth of Turkey. Regarding to trade, the UK is one of the most important partners of Turkey, both in the world and Europe. As of last year, bilateral trade volume was around $17 billion. The UK is the second ranking in all general exportation. Germany was the first. And ninth rank in general importation. Without two-way strong investment flows, our trade volume could not have reached its current level. As the life has started to normalize, we expect to see better trade figures soon. We may not reach the last year's level in the end of the year, but we will do our best. Nowadays, as we approach to the end of the year, major concerns emerge around Brexit. We all know that in current situation, there are certain uncertainties, especially in connection to a no-deal scenario. Until the end of the year, customs union conditions with the UK, based on the free movements of goods, will continue. In this environment, our economic connections lead us to remain important trade and economic partners for each other. We intend to conclude a comprehensive trade agreement. In order to reach this aim, a trade working group was established. As you see, there had been held 10 meetings by TWG until now. If agreement cannot be signed by the end of the year, the UK and Turkey will increase the initial custom duties under the WTO rules. UK government has announced the UK's new MFN tariff regime for trade with third countries. From the figures, we can see that UK is going to apply custom duties 8% to 12% for apparels and ready-to-wear products, 10% for automotive, and 2% in household appliances, and 4% for ceramics. Since these goods are Turkey's main export items to the UK, If there will be no agreement before the end of Brexit, we expect a decrease in exports. But these rates will change downwards in all products after the signing of a free trade agreement between our country and the UK. In this environment, bilateral investments play a part of importance. This because they create an ecosystem in which all broader economic and commercial activities take place. I am really happy to see almost 3,000 British companies operating in Turkey. Around 10 billion US dollars were invested by those companies. As such, the UK ranks fourth in terms of FDI in Turkey. I believe that those figures show the trust in Turkish economy. Turkey is a country that rapidly continues to complete its technological transformation, having a strong logistics and legislative infrastructure with an added value of strategic location, having full knowledge of the latest manufacturing technologies with increased and dynamic competitive power. Throughout these aims, scale energy and infrastructure investments were planned, and some already implemented and finished. These mega projects include Channel Istanbul, high-speed railways, Third Bosphorus Bridge, several highway investments, Istanbul Airport, Çanakkale Suspension Bridge, new generation of city hospitals. We see the importance of city hospitals in these pandemic times. Energy projects such as building two nuclear power plants. In addition to above-mentioned subjects, investments in IT sector, energy efficiency, and renewable energy have been carried out on large scale. These projects are financed mostly by private sector-oriented, build, operate, transfer, build, operate, own, public-private partnership, and transfer of operation rights models. These large scales of investment projects, production and exporting capacity, increasing servicing capabilities, and servicing export will attract the attention of British companies. I believe that in this environment, there are vast cooperation and investment opportunities for Turkish and UK companies. Regarding to the current situation, we can name these areas as automotive and supply industry, financial services and fintech, health, tourism, renewable energy and energy efficiency, constructing services, and infrastructure. By the way, we facilitated and continue to facilitate doing business in Turkey by simplifying all legal procedures and eliminate the administrative and bureaucratic barriers. Furthermore, for more capital inflows and qualified investments, we have adopted an investment incentive system. The investors benefit from certain incentive tools based on their size, sector, and location of investments. Without going into detail, I would like to emphasize that there are 4 basic schemes, and there are supports such as the VAT exemption, customs duty exemption, tax deduction, social security premium support, income tax withholding support, interest rate support, land allocation, and VAT refund. All of these information can be reached by internet of invest.gov.tr. This basic page for investment office. The UK is the second ranking in our generation. I would like to talk a bit about COVID-19 and effects of COVID-19 on the economy of Turkey and UK. The trade between UK and Turkey after COVID-19 has decreased, especially in March and April. In May, in July, June and July, we can see a bit better figures regarding to 3 months before. In April, our bilateral trade decreased by 11%. Regarding to exports, 58% regarding to exports and 37%. But in June, it began to increase again, 43% in regard to the May. In regard to imports, we see -6%, -36%, and -57% decreases. It is very important with these figures if we look at the United Kingdom, which is the second largest trading partner of Turkey. We see a decrease in the bilateral trade because of the COVID-19. Therefore, in COVID-19 process, we advise the following steps to our exporters in their trade relations with the UK. First, facilitating payments if possible, extension of payment terms to sustain the continuity of trade, strengthening the relationship with the imported companies, focusing on digital sales and marketing activities following the recent developments in the target countries, and also increasing market and product diversity in the long run. All companies follow these steps also, and I hope this the bilateral trade relations between countries will increase if we make a good trade agreement with the United Kingdom after the Brexit. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you. Thank you, Süleyman Bey. Thank you very much for your insightful information. Now, I would like to introduce Ms. Dilara Yardımcı, the UK Director of Turkish Trade Center. Dilara Hanım, can you please introduce yourself, the Turkish Trade Center, and the support your center provides for Turkish exporters? Yeah. And which sector operations do you currently have in the UK? Thank you.
Thank you, Yavuz Bey. Hello, everyone, and thanks for having me on the panel today. It's a pleasure. So my name is Dilara, and I'm the Country Director for the Turkish Trade Center here in the UK. So as Süleyman Bey mentioned a few minutes ago, so our government offers many incentives for exporters to expand their footprint globally. And one of those is actually the Turkish Trade Center. So I'm sure many of you have heard of Tour Quality before. Now, Tour Quality is an incentive that supports one brand in expanding their operations globally. They help with rent, refurbishment, and marketing activities. The Turkish Trade Center is a bit different to that. So what we do is we support a cluster. So we support a sector and enable their expansion into their target market. Now, this cluster needs to be a minimum of 10 companies operating in the same environment. So this could be technology, it could be construction, it could be textiles, even though textiles has a lot of subsectors. It could be anything. There is no limit to what sector it can be, as long as there is an opportunity in the market that they wish to enter. In terms of the incentive, we actually offer the largest incentive out of the export incentives that the government offers. It's 75%. So we provide support 75% on rent, 75% on any sort of refurbishment that needs to be done, and also 75% on marketing and PR activities. Now, in the UK, we have two sectors at the moment. One of them is for building materials, mainly focused on ceramics, marbles, tiles, and sanitary ware. We have an operation in Clerkenwell. I'm sure quite a few people from the audience have actually visited the operation. I've met many of you. So we are on floors in a building in Clerkenwell, which is a district for architecture and design. And we have a total of 14 companies that operate within the built environment sector. And that's our audience are architects. The second operation that we have in the UK is for technology. That setup is a bit different. Instead of having our own building, we have decided to place our 21 technology companies within WeWork. Reason being, they were very young companies, not necessarily in Turkey, but coming into the UK. Most of them were young companies. They were startups in the UK market. So we wanted to give them a network access, and WeWork was an amazing opportunity to do that. So we have a closed office space within WeWork, and we have a total of 21 companies that work there. And in terms of, I get a lot of questions about how a sector can apply to having a Turkish Trade Centre establishment. You just need to get in touch with us, the Turkish Trade Centre team. What we'll do is we'll sit down and we'll discuss the opportunity, the target market that you wish to enter. We will do the market research together with you to identify what the opportunity is. And if it is suitable, we will support in finding the necessary location that would be best for you. This could be an area, it could be a building, it could be a co-working space, it doesn't matter. We then do the contractual agreement on behalf of the sector with the landlord or wherever it is that we wish to rent. We then manage the refurbishment of the project. We basically do everything from A to Z, and all the companies need to do is just come in and display their products or start using their office space, wherever that might be. We also assist and help and manage, together with the companies, with their approval, of course, marketing and PR activities that the sector wants to do. And also, if they need, contacts, if they're completely new in the UK, how to set up a bank account, which lawyer should I go to, what accountant should I go to, so we can direct them to the right individual. And most importantly, our trade team at the embassy as well, who are always there to support us. We go to them for advice on a regular basis. Blame on base, thank God. We're there with the team. And that's the Turkish Trade Centre in a nutshell. Thank you.
Now we have Zeynep Öztekbaş Hanım, the head of Inward Investment Department for International Trade, the DIT. Zeynep Hanım, can you please introduce yourself and the DIT? What challenges do DIT face during the COVID crisis? How did you respond to them? Which sectors were impacted most by the pandemic? Thank you, Zeynep Hanım.
Okay, thank you very much, Yavuz Bey. Good morning, everybody. I'm Zeynep. I am working for the Department for International Trade, the main economic body, international trade body of the UK government. And I'm heading the Inward Investment team with a team of 4.5 for the last 6 years. I am an ex-banker, actually. I used to promote financial services to my clients. Now I try to promote UK to my investors, so not much changed. As part of DIT, my team is basically tasked to promote the UK's business environment strengths and provide support to Turkish companies to invest in the UK. We support a free, risk-free and low-cost way during their journey. I want to spend a few words on what kind of support we are providing to the investors. Depending on their sector requirements or their needs, we provide some tailor-made sector reports for them, location analysis and service, which I believe is quite an important value-added service. We provide alternative locations for them depending on the relevant clusters, their physical requirements and cost efficiency. We introduce investors with some trusted service providers who can be in legal firms, accounting firms, market entry consultants, HR firms, any service provider that could support the establishment procedure of a company. The initial meetings with such companies are free of charge because we make those introductions. And also, we introduce the client with the city councils and see if there might be some business incentives. Those individual networks or connections are adding really quite value to our investors. And also we provide information about some R&D related tax advantages, information about visa types, various visa types, introduce them with necessary sector clusters, associations, or even advise them to find the most relevant trade shows or fairs. What we cannot do, unfortunately, as a government institution is not to be do business development on behalf of our investments. I mean, they need to do that. We expect them to do that themselves. But what we try to do is to bring in, those people together in various events and occasions we organize and try to help them build their own networks. We don't only support large companies. There are large, big names in the UK, such as, Beko, Vestel, United Biscuits, owned by Yıldız Holding. Some other brands, retail brands like Simit Sarayı, many other things like Silicon Kashmir and everything. But we also try to help some smaller, medium to small size companies, especially technology companies, to establish their operations in the UK. And as Judith mentioned a few minutes ago, as of only last year, we intermediated or supported around 50 companies from Turkey who established their operations, and with an economic value of around £60 million and generating around 600 new jobs. And currently, actually, we have some mega projects in our pipeline. Mega meaning about £200 million and creating more than 300 jobs, which is really good news. We are also trying to look at these. When we come back to the COVID issue, of course, we were quite impacted like everybody else. But DIT, I think in that period, had a really, really crucial role and a leading role in sourcing the PPE procurement requirements of the UK health system. As this crisis came out, a task force was immediately established, and our colleagues for a couple of months really worked day and night to come up with a long list of Turkish companies who could provide such PPE products to NHS. And I think it was a very, very great moment for success for cooperation among the two countries, really. But in terms of general investment figures, of course, the global investment flows have been drastically changed since the start of February. According to the UN's very recent statistics report, the expectation for 2020 is a 40% reduction in overall global FDI flow, and another 10% for the coming next year, which is really a big, big strain on the world economy. Since the overall global demand comes down, and due to shutdowns of factories, lack of travel flexibility, and some supply chain problems due to border closures, investment activities impacted so badly. And we could observe this from our own pipeline globally and also in Turkey. But I think companies who have the financial strength still did not, delay or stop their investment plans, and they are using this time to, either take further steps or research and everything. So they haven't changed their mind. Only a few said that we will, wait and see what will happen, and we expect that as the travel restrictions are less, I think. We will have a steep increase in back to business. And coming back to which sectors were most impacted, indeed a few are most impacted than the others, like everywhere else, like services sector, tourism, retail, financial sector, automotive sector were quite badly impacted in the UK as everywhere else. And if you look at the trend in the Turkish investment to the UK, again, automotive, financial professional services, and manufacturing companies were, I think, most impacted. But I think one of the sectors which stood out was technology, very resilient sector, because it's more like a borderless type of sector, and also some subsectors emerged in this period of time, such as gaming companies, education technology companies, medical companies, e-commerce companies. these were like subsectors, technology subsectors, which emerged successfully. We can see it from our own pipeline. And one bad news was for the startup ecosystem, though. We give a lot of importance to them, but because of their financial limitations, they were really hardly impacted during this COVID period. But what also we did was, as my last remarks, we tried to reach out the existing investors in the UK and asked, how they're doing, whether there are any hurdles that we, as the government, can try to help them, inform them about the generous financial support the UK government had provided to corporates. So this was another exercise we did during the COVID period, Yavuz Bey. Thank you for now.
Thank you, Zeynep Hanım. It is now the turn of Ersin Nazalı. Ersin Bey is the managing partner of Nazalı Law Firm. Ersin Bey, can you please introduce yourself and the services of Nazalı? And also, could you mention what were the leading legal matters your clients had to deal with in the pandemic? And which areas of businesses were most affected in terms of legal issues? And what was your response? Thank you, Ersin Bey.
Yavuz Bey, thank you so much for the introduction. My name is Ersin Nazalı. I am managing partner of Nazalı Tax and Legal. Our office has more than 200 people, 150 in Turkey, with 5 offices in Istanbul, Ankara, İzmir, Denizli, and Bursa. We have 5 offices at the same time out of Turkey. As a tax and legal firm, we have office in Morocco, Amsterdam, Kiev, Moscow, and soon we have make announcement about office actually. Let me introduce myself. I worked 10 years at the government, 2 years as a tax inspector, 8 years as a tax inspector, 2 years as a prime minister inspector. Since 2012, I am in the legal sector, but since 2001, I'm in the tax matters actually. From my perspective, COVID is a extraordinary event for our clients actually, because there was no similar events or case before. Therefore, it was very difficult to manage for both business matters and at the same time legal matters and tax issues arising from these issues actually. With respect to issues or problem during the pandemic, I can summarize labor law issues, M&A transaction issues, force majeure issues regarding to contractual liability, the General Assembly of the company, and also maybe in order to facilitate the business transactions, e-signature transactions actually. With respect to the labor law, during this pandemic, some business disrupted, but some of the business continued actually. Therefore, for the business, their main priority to keep their employee safe. At the same time, they provide continue their operations actually. Therefore, it was very difficult, but from our experience from different countries, I can say that most of the business can manage this process very well actually. They continue their operations. At the same time, they keep their employees in a healthy and safe place actually. But at the same time, the government provided some incentives, not only the UK or Turkish government, but in Morocco, in Russia, in Ukraine. All of the governments provided some incentives to get over this crisis actually. We managed all this perspective of the labor case. At the same time, some of the countries, the government forbidden to lay off the employees during this pandemic in order to continue social stabilizations actually. With respect to the M&A transactions, as I mentioned, this pandemic is a very, very extraordinary cases. Most of the clients hold their M&A transactions and they didn't move to next stage, especially closing stage. But during this time, most of our projects hold, but I can say that at the moment they will start again actually. The other important issue during this pandemic is force majeure issues actually. For example, for the shopping malls, some operations, the landlord asks the money, but Lizzie cannot pay the money. And what is the how they meet the contractual obligation is a big problem. I think from my experience, most of the cases, the both party make reconciliations actually, because it is a very extraordinary situation, and they want to keep their business partnership for the next step. Therefore, I can say that there are not many litigation issues regarding to force majeure problem. The other issues or subject is the general assembly of the companies. As you know, in all world, each year the company holds a general assembly and have to make some decision regarding to your future plan actually. But again, the government and also some institutions publish some guidelines or rules regarding to this agenda, and I can say that at the moment they completed these issues, and as of today, I don't see any problem in countries where our office continues its operations actually. I can say that the biggest areas of the business were most affected is related to their supply chain problem actually. Supply chain problem because, for example, for the automotive industry, for a manufacturing company, they have many subcontractors or contractors actually. They, in order to produce a car, all these small or mid-sized companies should continue its operations. But before the pandemic, the main item of the business is the lower their cost. But during the pandemic, the company understands the sustainability of supply chain is the most important subject. Again, meet the contractual obligation is a big problem, because some countries manage this pandemic is very bad, but in the beginning, some countries cannot manage very well actually. Therefore, there was some problem between the business partners in the different countries. Again, after not the controlling, maybe after some stage, the business started come back to their business, but how they keep their employee in a safe place or secure place is a biggest problem. Same again, I can say that in Turkey. But in that, I can say that in 6 countries which we have office, the life started to normal actually. Therefore, hope as a world we will get over this pandemic in a controlled way this winter, I think. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ersin Bey. Now we will pass on to the the final round of questions to the panelists. Can I ask the speakers to briefly respond to the questions and add their final concluding remarks? Thank you all for that. Süleyman Bey, can we come back to you again about your thoughts on the trends in the Turkish-British bilateral economic relations before and how they were affected during the COVID crisis? And what are your thoughts on the future shape of Turkish-British bilateral economic relations depending on the possible different Brexit scenarios? Thank you. Süleyman Bey? Süleyman Bey, can you hear me? Zeynep Hanım, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. If you want, I can go ahead.
Okay, let me come back to you, and then we will try to reach Süleyman Bey.
Okay.
I would like to ask you the same question I asked Süleyman Bey. What do you think the shape of Turkish-British bilateral economic relations will be depending on the Brexit types? And what will be the UK's key investment appeal for foreign investors and Turkish businesses in particular in the post-COVID and post-Brexit economy? Thank you, Zeynep.
Okay, welcome. That was bad. Actually, we had been hearing this question about will UK leave the EU? It was a billion-dollar question we used to receive from our counterparts every other day. And now the question is changed because, the exit happened. But the new question is, how will the exit happen? This is another billion-dollar question. We never knew both of the answers to these questions. So therefore, I think rather than focusing on different scenarios, we should look at, the implementation of a successful UK-Turkey free trade agreement, no matter what happens. And as we all know, being part of the customs union with the EU, Turkey is not in position to sign a bilateral FTA with the UK before UK and EU signs it among themselves. Therefore, if there's no FTA by the end of the year among UK and EU, we will not be in a position to sign a full continuity trade deal with the UK by the first day of UK's actual physical exit from the EU. Of course, this will hurt our trade and we will go back to the World Trade Organization, impose tariffs for both ends, and neither side wants this to happen. Because UK is the second largest export market of Turkey. This will have serious implications in terms of additional costs to main sectors such as economy, textile, electronic goods. And also such sectors will be negatively impacted given the fact that they will lose their competitive edge once they will be in the same tariff league with the other low-cost manufacturing countries such as China, India. As stated by the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson last week, the negotiations with the EU is entering its final phase, and we will know by mid-October whether there is a deal at hand which can be implemented by the end of the year. Therefore, I think the aspiration for Turkey and the UK is to continue with a zero tariff trade on all goods currently traded in the EU-Turkey Customs Union by implementing a UK-Turkey free trade agreement by the end of the year. For the areas that are under the control of the two countries, like manufacturing goods, agriculture, and services, a very good progress is made on the draft text, and negotiators worked throughout the summer. There were 3 trade working groups, as mentioned by Judith Slater, and intense rounds of technical discussions. And both London and Ankara are committed to bring preparations close by the end of September to ratify it by the end of the year, before the end of the transition period. But whatever outcome of the UK scenario is, I think the aim is quite clear, to secure a continuity of the trade as closely as possible as the UK leaves the customs union, to avoid any reversion to World Trade Organization terms of trade between the two countries. And I think the government should, both governments should make every effort to bolster their existing similarities, complementary areas, and ensure that the trade flows of the recent years in key sectors such as automotive, textiles, machinery, and metals are sustained. And new areas can be solved as, services sector, for example, which currently represents only 20% of the value of the trading relationship. Another step can be taken for agriculture, where only 1% of UK's imported agri-food comes from Turkey. and vice versa, Turkey may benefit from the agricultural technologies, services, and also high quality meat, dairy, fisheries, and alcohol. Digital trade is another very promising area. We have a unique chance to open up new opportunities for our technology companies in this area. And I think we should look for opportunities for doing business in third countries together. As you know, the UK Export Finance Institution and Turkish counterparts, Export Credit Bank of Turkey, signed an agreement in 2017 to jointly look into financing projects in third markets together. And about the, I think at the moment this is what I can say. And in terms of the sectors, which sectors are better positioned after the post-COVID and post-Brexit, I think the same current trend will continue. Technology will still lead or remain as a leading sector between inflows from Turkey to the UK. And this is, with the telling with the four challenges described under the industrial strategy of the UK, AI, future mobility, clean growth, and aging society, these all touch base with technology. And on top of that, other technology subsegments like cybersecurity, smart cities, creative sector, and medical technologies, we expect more to go from Turkey. And I personally believe that, the COVID has showed that, or also maybe Brexit showed that, UK needs to become a more manufacturing-oriented country. And, they suffered a bit because of this disruption in the supply chains and everything. So I believe that, Turkish manufacturing companies may have a chance to carry out their manufacturing operations in the UK. And we see this trend as of now. Some big projects, as we told, are in our pipeline. These can be in packaging sectors, waste management, machinery equipment companies. These sectors look really promising for Turkish investors. On top of that, we can again talk about life sciences sector, financial services sector, food and drink sector. And once the markets open up again, retailers which seek the huge attractive UK market would again be interested to go to the UK and invest, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you, Zeynep Hanım. Dilara Hanım, can I come back to you?
Yeah, sure.
Got a few questions. Which of your sector operations in the UK were impacted most by the pandemic, and what was your response as Centre and as your member companies? And what were the key questions and key demands of your member companies in relation to the pandemic and the post-Brexit setting? Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you again. So in terms of our sector operations, as I mentioned previously, we have technology and building materials, so ceramics, marbles, and tiles. Understandably, the technology sector and our companies prospered significantly, especially operating in the digital world. However, the building materials side, Clerkenwell did suffer. Reason being, current construction projects, so our target audience are, architects and construction companies. And projects came to a standstill. And even projects planned for the future have now been delayed. So that has impacted the companies here quite a bit. However, for some of them, interestingly enough, for the companies that have local depots here and hold a really large stock, they have actually doubled and tripled in sales over COVID because of logistical problems that other competitor markets have faced. So that's actually been really interesting for us. Now, looking at it, the monthly output in the construction sector has seen its lowest since 2010, with a minus 40% since April, especially for those selling goods, building material goods to the hospitality and entertainment sectors. they have suffered the most because of the hotels. They've closed and hotels projects have come to a complete standstill. Travel has been really affected. So, hotel projects are probably going to be delayed significantly more than residential. So on that side, there's been a minus 89% growth in April. And overall, the construction sector has shrunk by 18%. So this has all impacted our building materials, our Clerkenwell operation. What was our response to this? Now, obviously, together with the lockdown, we did close our operation like many other businesses. We did continue to work from home, but we did support our companies in their trade efforts. We did also make contact with our target clients, saying that, we are here and they can still source products from us. We are still working. We sent regular updates to HQ, which is based in Istanbul. Turkish Trade Center HQ is in Istanbul. So in terms of what have been the key questions around the pandemic, it's been mostly about the incentives and the relief packages for companies that are offered. And for that, again, we studied that extensively and we shared it with our sector board on a weekly basis, depending on developments. A lot of people were initially inquiring into, how long would it take for the UK to recover from this? When is it going to sort of, start calming down? That was the thing at the beginning. Obviously, now we're living in a completely different world. And around Brexit, the main questions lately have been around, when is the trade agreement going to be signed? Is the trade agreement going to be signed? And what are going to be the contents of the trade agreement? And how will we be impacted? So these are the questions that we're currently getting the most, and we're doing our best to answer them. That's it for me.
Many thanks again, Dilara Hanım. Süleyman Bey, can I come back to you?
I think there might be a problem with the microphone.
Süleyman Bey? Okay, then Ersin Bey, for your final round of questions and for your concluding remarks, can you please talk us about the financial and legal issues that will be prevalent in the post-COVID and post-Brexit era, in particular about double taxation, and to what extent the customs union agreement between the EU and Turkey will influence the shape of the trade agreement between the UK and Turkey after Brexit? Thank you, Ersin Bey.
Thank you, Yavuz Bey. Yes, each speaker has mentioned the UK is one of the most important trade partner of the Turkey with respect to the goods and also service sector, actually. I think from both Turkish and UK businessman perspective, Brexit is the fundamental issue before us, actually. Customs union between Turkey and EU went back to maybe 1995, but within last 2 years or 1 year, the Turkish government started to discuss this customs union with the EU, actually. But so far we cannot move forward, and we don't see any improvement regarding these discussions. Brexit, I think Brexit will be presenting some opportunity for both countries, because even if there is a Brexit deal or no deal between UK and EU, the picture or economy or relation between two groups will not be the same before, actually. Therefore, due to this Brexit uncertainty or deal or no deal case, Turkey, I think Turkey will be one of the best countries who will benefit from this Brexit scenario, actually, because, as you know, Turkey is a big country. Maybe the population is equal, but Turkey has a big industry capacity and also service capacity, actually. Following the Brexit, probably Turkey or Turkish people will be the maybe most common people in London, actually, regarding this opportunity. From my perspective as a tax advisor, considering the United Kingdom tax regime, especially holding regime, there will be many Turkish company or holding company who come to London actually, because so far the Netherlands or Amsterdam was the best region for the Turkish businessman due to double tax treaty, double tax treaty agreement actually. But considering the last OECD development and also last mutual agreement between the countries, I think Netherlands will lose its privileged positions actually, because there is an international agreement before the Turkish Parliament. If this agreement is enacted, I think soon it will be enacted. This enacted will remove the privilege of the current double tax treaty between Netherlands and Turkey, which means there will be some companies who will come to London for the benefits of this taxation agreement actually. Therefore, from my perspective, after the Brexit area, there will be many Turkish companies who want to transfer their HQ or international holding positions from Netherlands to London actually. This is the most important subject from my perspective. With respect to the customs issues, as far as I know, the deal between Turkey and UK is very close actually. They are trying to finalize maybe some small wording or some detailed issues. If this agreement is enacted before the end of the year, probably it will be maybe the third or fourth free trade agreement between UK and Turkey. Thanks to this agreement, I think both UK and Turkey will cure the problem of the current customs union between Turkey and EU. Therefore, I believe that the next free trade agreement between two countries will provide some opportunity regarding the import and exports between two countries. In the end, I can say that Brexit will provide much opportunity, advantages and privileges for both UK and Turkish relations for taxation matters, financial matters and legal issues in the near future, I think.
Thank you, Ersin Bey. Süleyman Bey, one final round of questions for you. Can you hear me, Süleyman Bey? I think not. Well, that concludes our panel. Many thanks for the panelists and Emine Hanım for helping us with the organization. The audience, they can please contact the panelists and me regarding any further questions you may have. And I thank you again for listening and thank the panelists for joining in, and thank again Emine Hanım and all organizers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for moderating.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.